Aquarius. This is Glenn up in North Carolina. How are you?
My good buddy Glenn, how are you? The solder, how's it going, bud? Buddy Glenn, how are you? How's it going, bud?
Hey, Mark.
Dustin here also. How you doing, Glenn?
We're fine. We just finished a lecture on Aquarius with Ocean 17 here in Wilmington, North Carolina. And a few of them have surprised looks on their face. I think it's because of the Aquarius and not you.
Well, that could go either way on that one.
Who's that with you?
Dustin Brown is here, the other habitat tech.
Okay, where are the scientists? What have you done with them?
They're all out doing their work. The whole reason for us being here is so the scientists can get out 6 to 9 hours a day, and they're on a 4-hour excursion as we speak.
Okay, very good. Let me see if there are any questions here from our audience. Okay, Dr. Jones. Yes. What kind of research? The question was, what kind of research do you need to trick somebody into funding in order to get to go diving in the cool Aquarius?
Well, good question. As you are well aware, Glenn, it's peer-reviewed. The scientists have an opportunity every year to put a proposal in for doing science from the underwater habitat. One of the criteria is that they have to show that diving for 6 to 9 hours a day is important to their mission. That's the whole reason for us to be here, to be able to support scientists to get out in the water, personally have humans on the reef doing the actual study. So then it goes before a peer review, which is a bunch of other scientists that review the science to make sure it's pertinent and it's worthy of spending time down here in the habitat.
Yeah, in other words, if some research could just as easily be done from the surface, then you're not going to use the Aquarius.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Got another question? Okay, the question was, what type of research are you doing right now?
Okay, what they're doing, everything's related with changes to what's going on Earth and the climate and all, and these scientists specifically are studying acidification of the oceans, and if it's happening, what they're doing is finding out if the pH levels are rising. There's also a natural pH background, and pH, as I'm sure you smart guys know, determines if a fluid is acid or base. So what they're doing is they've actually found natural pockets on the reef where the acidity is a little above a normal acidity. So they're examining those areas, locating them, and measuring them. And then they're also doing some experiments at the start of the habitat where they're causing the acidity to go up artificially and its effects on corals. So it's all related to climate change.
Okay, well, is acidity bad in the ocean?
It can be. Part of the problem with it is, for instance, with corals have a calcium carbonate skeletal system. That's how the reefs are built up. It's more or less rock. Calcium carbonate is a rock, and if the acidity is too high, they can't form that hard shell that goes around the polyps. It also affects some other shellfish and some chemistry in the water. So yes, it can have detrimental effects on the long term.
Okay. Any, question back there. Okay, what day of the mission are you on, and how long is the mission?
Currently, we're on our 3rd day of the mission out of 10, and the 9th day is really a partial day. We start decompression then.
I understand you guys are going to have a live chat this evening?
Yes, that's going to be with a diver in the water tonight. It's going to be Justin out on a what's called a Superlight 17 hard hat with communications and an underwater camera. So if you have a chance to watch it, you really should. Last night I was out and there was a sea turtle that came by the habitat, so we had him on video. You just never know what you're going to find out there at night. But all the colors and everything are just really cool to see. There was some bioluminescence last night. he'll actually be out there working also. He's not just out there on what we call a la-la dive. He'll be working, and at the same time, as you look around, you can't help but see some pretty cool things that gather around the habitat in the evening.
Very good. Another question? Yeah.
All the biofouling on aquariums that have
Okay. They were asking, they said they're noticing Dominic's been changing the video to the outside views, and I showed him a view of James Talicek doing a tour outside. They've noticed a lot of biofouling on the habitat itself. How does that affect things? Is that bad or good or what?
Well, it's in the long run, it's good. The habitat itself serves as an artificial reef. As you've heard of when they sink ships and all those serve as a reef. So the habitat also serves as a structure that settling organisms will settle onto, then other fish will come to feed off of that. So it forms a substrate or a basis that way. The problem for us in that we have valves and outside things that we have to maintain. There's cylinders, there's valves, and to turn those valves, we can't have growth all over them. So we go out all the time. Part of the biggest work effort that we do is maintaining these valves and keeping them clean. We actually have steel brushes and scrapers and things that we go out and clean the valves and the piping outside on the habitat. So there's areas of it that we let go so it provides structure for fishes and all, and other things that we have to maintain to keep them working mechanically. That's a great question.
So if you're an operational person, biofouling is bad, and if you're a scientist, it's good.
Exactly.
Or if you're a fish, it's good.
Yeah, the fish love it.
What's for dinner?
Well, funny you ask, because I can reach right up here, and we have to bring everything we eat down here. We bring down in pressurized pots. And what works really well is Mountain House camping food. It's sold for campers, and all you have to do is add hot water. This is a long-grain wild rice one. We have a vegetarian down here, so we have vegetarian meals for her. And this is one of my favorites, spaghetti with meat sauce. And it's really not bad at all. You can see how it's all compressed. The pressure in here is 2.5 times what it is on the surface. So the pressure is actually compressing this package. When I open it, it'll expand, and we put hot water in here, then it rehydrates, and it's actually pretty tasty.
Talk about biological housekeeping, showers, going to the bathroom, that kind of thing.
All right, go ahead. That's all you. Yeah. We have a regular shower. It is a hot water shower. We have a limited water supply, fresh water on board. So we take what are called Navy showers, which you turn the shower on, rinse off, and you turn it off again while you soap up, turn it off to rinse. So there's a little process that we do to conserve water. It's like everybody needs to start doing at home with
the wet board.
Electricity, water problems. So yeah, it's out on the wet board. So when you come out of the seawater, you come up and take a shower. We do have a toilet on board that goes off the holding tank, so everything is just like a little apartment complex, except for we have 6 people that live in here. We have sinks where we brush our teeth and everything, so all the comforts of home are down here. Where I'm facing now is towards the bunk room. There's 6 bunks in there. But, to live together, the size of the habitat is about the size of a yellow school bus, about 42 feet long. So you have to be able to play well with others to live in. They can be pretty tight quarters, but you don't even think of it after a while.
How do you replenish the freshwater supply?
Well, we just did. So you want to tell them what you did?
Yeah, we have one of our work vessels will come out with a freshwater holding tank on that. The freshwater tank that we have on the habitat is vented to the atmospheric pressure in here with us. Then we have potters or divers that come down with the hose. We hook it up and we basically push water from the surface into the habitat, which then goes into our our off-board water tank.
We have tanks outside that hold 300 gallons of water per tank. Lasts about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, the Dominic switched to the LSP camera, and we saw the Sabina go by, and you could see the water tank on the back.
That was it. We just got a delivery just a little while ago.
Okay. Question was, what's the coolest and/or weirdest thing you've seen down there?
Well, looking to my left, probably Justin. No, that's an interesting question when you've been down here a bunch. Like it's always an ooh-ah moment. Like when I was out last night, all of a sudden this turtle came from out of the dark and swam right over up to me and then swam off on its merry way. This bioluminescence is one of the cooler things you see if you go out at night, turn off your flashlight and wave your hand around. It just glows like a kind of cartoon. I don't know if you've seen the Fantasia movie, Mickey Mouse when he does his wand. It's just like that. The colors that come out of that are pretty interesting. But just sitting inside the habitat here at night with the lights that shine, plankton, little microscopic or a little larger animals, zooplankton, which is animals, and phytoplankton that are plants, will come and gather around these viewports. And you can sit here and watch for hours and see something different every time. So there's always surprises every time you're inside here.
How is it, can you talk about, what it's like living and working down there that makes it so different than the surface? What do you miss? What is it like as a person down there?
Well, with modern times, with the internet, we actually have computers down here. We can search the web. We get emails. We now have regular voice over IP computers, telephones, so we can call home. So sorry, that noise is we have a pair of aquanauts coming into a way station for fill. So one of us is going to have to get up and do that. They're at a remote station 900 feet away from the habitat, and we have airlines going out to them, so they're coming in to refill their tanks.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, what the way stations are for and how those work, so that's neat.
Yeah, that's what they're doing now. They have underwater comms on transmission also, so they're checking in now, and we're going to send air out to them so they can fill their tanks.
Okay. This audience, Ocean 17, are all young divers, all interested in ocean research. So we got a perfect audience.
Great, that's a good field to be in. And if you can ever get a chance to come down here and swim around the outside of the habitat, it's really a sight to see.
Any last questions? We'll wrap it up. I'm going to take one more question. Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome is it down there?
I'll tell you, I've been down here a number of times. This is about my 19th mission, and every time I'm in here, it's just as cool as the last time. I never get tired of it. If you love the oceans, and having this kind of job is truly a dream job for me. And literally every time I'm here, when I wake up in the morning, look out the big viewport, and our bunk room is similar to this one. You wake up, look out, and seeing all the fish looking back in at you. It's just incredible. So it's definitely a 10 times 10 for me.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mark. Justin, thank you very much for your time.
All right, thanks. Good group, good questions. Thanks, Glenn. Nice to hear from you, bud.
Hey, nice to see you again, Mark.
All right, take care.
Thanks very much, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.